The lesson for today's class is called The Return of Judah. Again, the lesson for today's class is called The Return of Judah. We're calling this The Return of Judah because a couple of weeks ago we had a class recently, and that class was called The Rage of Judah. And as you listen to that class, The Rage of Judah, really is taking the rage out of our young brothers and sisters. You know, the rage that we might have that's putting us in that red zone with Satan. So it's a term, the rage of Judah, because Judah really has no power. And when you hit that tilt mode of the rage area, whose power is that? That's Satan's power. That's not the Most High's power. So Judah don't have no power. The Most High calls Judah a worm. And, you know, a lot of brothers today that are not in the truth, when they see brothers like us, they kind of look down on us like, man, you ain't tough, man. You ain't trying to do no rebellion. You ain't trying to go up against this white man and all of this stuff. But that's not what it's about. The Most High said to be at peace with all men. Do we know our enemies? Absolutely, according to the scriptures. But there's a time for everything. There's a season for everything. And we are on the Most High's time, not on our time. Again, Judah are the Negroes who are in the Americas and that are scattered across the globe. That is the tribe of Judah. If no one knows, now you know. The tribe of Judah is scattered to the four corners of the earth. Judah comes in various shades. And that's not even mentioned in the other 11 tribes. We're just talking about Judah, but the scriptures tell us that all the tribes come out of the waters of Judah. Judah's the one that's going to be the mouthpiece of the Most High, teaching this truth that's going to wake up all the other tribes, whether they hear or whether they forbear. They're going to hear this truth. Some may wake up, some may not. Some may work in the truth, some may not work in the truth. But the return of Judah has something to do with this. We all know that our leader is Yahushua. He came out of the waters of Judah. His father and his mother were both from the tribe of Judah. So he comes, if you read Matthew chapter 1, you see the lineage of Judah. From top to bottom, Christ had a lineage. And it goes all the way back to the patriarchs, which is in the book of Genesis.
Let's look at more resources. Now, this is a book called Jews and Blacks in the Early Modern World by Jonathan Skorsh, Columbia University, Cambridge University Press. This was first published in 2004. We're going to go to page 179, and we're going to drop down to the last paragraph. It reads, "The heretics, example, Christians ask and say, why are the majority of Gentiles, example, Christians, white and attractive, while the majority of Jews are black and ugly?" All right, this was the going saying about Jews in those days in the European area. So I'm going to use this book as a reference to the book that I just brought out. And this is The Inquisition Revealed, Its Origins, Policy, Cruelties, and History, Memoirs of the Victims. It says Dr. France. It says, in France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, England, India, and other countries, indicated to Cardinal Wiseman. Reverend Thomas Timpson, London, and this book was printed in 1851. I'm going to jump straight to the point. If you look at page 299, and we're going to drop down to where it says I. It reads, "I was tempted more than once to singe with my blazing taper the hideous visage of one of these Jacobians. This is a Israelite. They called the Israelites Jacobians. And it's talking about how hideous the face of the Jacobians were. These are your dark Israelites. But my good genius prevented me. One of them advised me with an air of mildness to confess my sins. This is Isaiah 52 and verse 13. If you notice, we were talking about visage and the ugliness of the Jews. This is whom the world calls Christ. This is what he looked like, a description of what he would look like. Isaiah 52 and 13, behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. As many were astonished at thee, his visage, meaning his face, was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. This is Yahushua. It's the one the world calls Christ. So his visage was something not to look upon. People didn't look at him as something that was handsome or beautiful. Okay? And the Most High prophesied that this is what he would come out looking like. This is why when the Romans came up on him on the Mount of Olives, on the last prayer, they said, which one of you is Christ? And he says, I am he. They didn't even know which one was Hamashiach. So, there you have it. Jews and blacks in the early modern world. Why are the majority of Gentiles, example, Christians, white and attractive, while the majority of Jews are black and ugly? Crazy. Let's go to page 180. And let's go down to this paragraph here where it says at. It reads, at the letters N, Greenhall reiterated with ethnographic precision that the 100 or so Jews he saw at the synagogue are all generally black, so as they may be distinguished from Spaniards or native Greeks. For the Jews' hair hath a deeper tincture of a more perfect raven black. In 1690, the Reverend Robert Kirk of Aberfoley visited the same Tree Church Alley synagogue, ending his depiction of the worship with almost identical ethnographic punctuation. They were all very black men and indistinct in their reasoning as gypsies, because the gypsies were black. Similar portrayals continued into the 18th century and later. William Black, Secretary of Commissioners appointed by Governor William Gooch of Virginia to deal with the Indians, described Hester Levy, a daughter of the wealthiest and best-known New York Jew, Moses Levy, whom he met in June 1744, as very well made her complexion black, but very comely. She had two charming eyes and well turned, with a beautiful head of hair, coal black. As late as 1753, during the debate in England over the Year's Jewish Naturalization Act, one polemist suggested that anyone who wanted to look Jewish should rub herself with walnut husk to fix such an indelible hue and make you complete olive beauties with a lively complexion like that of a new Negro from the coast of Guinea. Memorials of Gilbert Haven, Bishop of the Methodist Episcopal Church, edited by W. H. Daniels. This book was published in Boston in 1882. We're going to go to page 340, and we're going to drop down to, we're talking about the kindred of Christ. It reads here, it is impossible, of course, to declare certainly the complexion of our Savior. Our only guides are the people of the land where he lived. Some fancy he was a white man, but this could not be, except in violation of every law of man. The native of Palestine, Jews, and Arabs, except the few of the former imported from Germany, are of brown complexion, almost the color of the bright brown mulatto. The worship of Nazareth, who still gather at the well of Annunciation, are of the dusky hue. This is like a Steph Curry, dusky hue. The most beautiful lady we saw abroad, one of the loveliest we ever looked upon, was a brown Bethlehem Jewess, who passed us at the tomb of Rachel on her donkey with her brown, bearded, and turbaned lord and lover walking at her side, a perfect type of the Rachel and Jacob of 4,000 years before. Just such complexions may one see today in those who were by lately Southern slaves. A very comely and attractive Bedouin of a bright brown complexion went up the pyramids with us and stood under the Sphinx. When asked to come to America, he replied, "You will sell me." We have been selling multitudes of his complexion for generations. How about that? Dean Stanley describes Abraham as a Bedouin sheik. Except in the faith, he says in every aspect the likeness is complete between the Bedouin chief of the present day and the Bedouin chief who came from Chaldea nearly 4,000 years ago. One of these aspects is complexion, and the Arab of Palestine and the wilderness is very like Frederick Douglass in this particular. Now, when it says Arab and Palestine, most people minds go straight to the Arabs over there in the Middle East. But if you know the scriptures, you will understand that in Psalms chapter 83, it lists in the 6th verse those who are the enemies of Israel. It states first Edom. The second person or the second nation it lists is Ishmael. Now, Ishmael are the Arabs. So right there, you should check your mind and say, wait a minute. If Ishmael are the Arabs, this possibly can't be talking about Christ being an Arab. You see how they just took you for a mind trip? So these are actual black people. To label them looking like Frederick Douglass, we all know what Frederick Douglass looks like. So these were dark, brown, Negro people. Abraham and his wife were both of the present wandering race. Isaac's wife was of his parents' Mesopotamian origin. And so was Jacob's. So this is telling you that the Israelites are Negroes, and Christ looked just like his people, who looked just like Frederick Douglass.
So we're going to start out with 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and 9. This class is different from the class Rage of Judah. This is going to tell you what's going to happen at the end when Judah is doing the stuff that he's supposed to do now. We are going to get that power. It's just not now. This is not the time. The only thing for us to do now is teach the truth. That is our job, to teach the truth and prophesy through Hamashiach Yahushua, which a lot of brothers and sisters who are not in the truth see that as weak. They see that as weakness. This is why some people will not come in the truth, because it's not, they don't consider this ferocious to go against all the powers that be. But in essence, it really is going against all the powers that be through the Most High. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 9. And the scriptures read, "For we know in part, and we prophesy in part." All right, so all the things that we've been learning, if you look at all the classes that we've been through, all of it's in part. We're not giving people the full throttle of everything in one class. You can't. You cannot put the Most High's word in a nutshell. You can't. Even the angels can't. Everything is in part. Only get part. The Most High don't tell the angels everything. He don't even tell Yahushua everything. Yahushua don't even know when that day is coming. Only the Father knows. So we prophesy in part. So I gave you a part of Judah in the rage of Judah. Now I'm giving you another part of Judah, the return of Judah. So for we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. This is when Yahushua returns. When Yahushua returns, he's bringing what? The benefits, all the benefits. We're going to be perfected. All right, let's go to Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. "And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Hamashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High Yahweh, Hashem Hamashiach Yahushua." Everything is through Christ. All right? So we're going to prophesy in part through Hamashiach. Let's drop down to verse 23, same chapter. Again, it says, "And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Most High, and not unto men." Everything we're doing through the Most High. Right? We're not looking for self-gratification. We're not trying to say that we're better than anyone else. But everything we're doing for the Most High. Verse 24, "Knowing that of the Most High ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Hamashiach Yahushua." What is that reward of inheritance? It is everlasting life. That's what Hamashiach was pushing. So we're trying to receive that. What comes with that? The overhaul of this kingdom. That's what comes with that. When you receive everlasting life, everything that's temperate, like these temporary lives that we have, everything that's temperate that exists on earth is going away. We're overhauling the whole earth to be forever. Everything is going to be rejoicing that it gets to live a full life, a full extension. Nothing is cut short like in this life. Nothing's temperate or temporal. So we have to be steadfast in doing the right thing to get to that inheritance. That's what we're all shooting for. That's why the class on the rage of Judah is not Judah's power. It's the Most High's power. We have to wait on the Most High to receive that power, and that entails us. We are part of that plan. And what we have to do is do everything we can right. That's what we aim to do. Everything right. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 33. And let's review about Judah. Deuteronomy chapter 33. Now, this is a prophecy of Judah. We'll start at verse 1 again. Deuteronomy 33, verse 1. "And this is the blessing." This is one of the benefits. "Wherewith Moses, the man of the Most High, blessed the children of Israel before his death." We have so many benefits just because we're the children of Israel. Benefits, just because. All those who don't know the truth, they're bathing in benefits and don't even realize it. That's why he says, "I know your poverty, but thou art rich." We're bathing in benefits, things that other people don't have. Athletic ability, singing abilities, mind control, breath control. We have all types of benefits and we don't realize it. It's the blessing from the Most High that went on Judah. And he said, "The Most High came from Sinai, rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000 of his saints from his right hand went a fiery law for them. So this law is within our vessels. This is part of the benefits. When we keep the law, we get blessed. Even when we don't, some of us still get blessed. Let's drop down to verse 7. And this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, hear the Most High, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thou an help to him from his enemies. So the Most High is saying, listen, I bless Judah, and I bless their voice to help all the other people, not just the 12 tribes, to help all the people. How many people benefited off the civil rights movement? Everyone. Everyone benefited off the civil rights. Even the benefits like Obamacare, everyone has benefited, even though he may not be Jake. But Judah has benefited from that. Issachar, Ephraim, everyone has benefited off those benefits. Now, okay, here's a good example of how these benefits bestow our people. If you work for a company for 30 years and you didn't know you had benefits, and then you get sick, you go to a hospital and the hospital says, sir, have you worked at all? And the person says, yeah, I worked for 30 years. I'm retired. First thing that person is going to say is, you got all this coming to you. You got all these benefits. You didn't know? That's how the Most High's benefits are. That's for all those who are operating out of the truth. They got those benefits, but they don't know how to get to it. They don't know that it exists. So this is what it's talking about when the Most High bestowed this inheritance on Israel. And he's telling Judah, your voice is going to carry all over the world and bless many. Deuteronomy 33, verse 8. And of Levi, he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One. And what they would do is these two stones would light up, one for yes, one for no. And so at that time, Levite had these two stones, and this is what they would do. When he would go to someone to bless them or go to a city to do certain things, he would ask the Most High, and one of the stones would light up. We have powers, right? So it says, and of Levi said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massah, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah, who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children. Levi cut off everybody from his family to serve the Most High. For they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. Okay, so Levi, the Most High, is saying there's a different spirit in Levi. He will serve the Most High and cut off everybody just so he could be perfect with the Most High. Right? And he set Levi up for all the tribes to be blessed. Verse 10, they shall teach Jacob thy judgment. See that? That's all of Israel. And Israel thy law. They shall put incense before thee and hold burnt sacrifices upon thine altar. Burnt sacrifices now, pursuant to Leviticus chapter 1. Let's go there real quick. I'm just touching up on some of these things before we get into the good stuff, just so you have some understanding. Leviticus chapter 1, let's look at those burnt sacrifices that he's speaking of, because this burnt sacrifice is what's saving us today, but it's not what the Levites had. Leviticus chapter 1, verse 1, and the Most High called unto Moses and spoke unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, if any man of you bring an offering unto the Most High, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd, and of the flock. If his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. What was Yahushua? Was he not a male without blemish? Most High said, this is my son, whom I'm well pleased of. He had no blemishes. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Most High. Verse 4, he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. I brought that out so you can see that we have only one sacrifice that's our atonement. And who is that? That is the Hamashiach Yahushua. So when we read Deuteronomy 33 and we're reading about Levite and the burnt sacrifices upon the altar, that is an atonement for the sins of Israel. That atonement now is not of herd, is not of cow, is not of any animal. It's now the Hamashiach. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 10. We all know that Hamashiach came out of the loins of who? The loins of Judah. Hebrews 10 and 8. It reads, above, when he said, sacrifice and offering, and burnt offerings, and offering for sin thou wouldest not, neither hadst pleasure therein, which are offered by the law. Because we know that the Levites did it, but the Most High had no pleasure in what the Levites were doing. So the burnt offering is about to be conveyed on what it is. Verse 9, then said he, lo, I come to do thy will, O power. He taketh away the first, that he may establish the second. What did Yahushua came to do? Take away the law of sacrifice. Okay? He amended that law only. The law of sacrifice. All of the laws are still in existence. But this law has been amended, by the which we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Yahushua once for all. See that? So he became that living sacrifice, that burnt offering. Let's read down to 14. And every priest standing daily ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sinners forever, sat down on the right hand of the Most High. So he's standing next to the Most High at the altar. Right now, the burnt offering is right on the altar next to the Most High. From henceforth, expecting till his enemies be made his footstool. So Christ died specifically to give us the benefits to reign again. These benefits that we're talking about is something that we have, but we haven't gotten the full throttle of all the benefits, which is to have our enemies be made our footstool. Verse 14, for by one offering he hath perfected forever them that are sanctified. So we are working to be sanctified through him. What does sanctified mean? Acceptable, put apart, holy. Okay, we're trying to be acceptable to the Most High. So let's go back to where we were, Deuteronomy chapter 33. Deuteronomy 33, verse 10. Let's read that again. So Levi and Judah, because Judah has a mouthpiece, they shall teach Jacob thy judgments and Israel thy law. They shall put incense before thee and whole burnt sacrifice upon thine altar. We have the burnt sacrifice there now. Bless the Most High, his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again. Why? Because we want to put them at our footstool. Our enemies. These are our enemies. We're dwelling with our enemies today. And of Benjamin, he said, which is the little brother, and of Benjamin, he said, which was a tough brother. If you read the book of Judges, Benjamin was no joke, the tribe of Benjamin. And of Benjamin, he said, the beloved of the Most High shall dwell in safety by him, and the Most High shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. So Benjamin right between Levi and Judah. This is what makes up the southern kingdom of the tribe of Judah. 3 tribes make up the kingdom of Judah, southern kingdom. You have to know that. The rest of the tribes make up the kingdom of Israel. The Most High is going to take those 2 sticks and put them together and make them one, and Judah will be the head under who? Under Mashiach and King David. Isaiah 19 and 19. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 19. And it reads, "In that day shall there be an altar to the Most High in the midst of the land of Egypt." Egypt is also a similitude of where we are now. "And a pillar at the border thereof to the Most High. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Most High of hosts in the land of Egypt." What does Egypt mean? Bondage. Egypt means bondage. Are we not in bondage here today? "For they shall cry unto the Most High because of the oppressors, and he shall send them a what? And he shall send them a Savior and a great one, and he shall deliver them." So, as you can see, the Most High is telling us that he's going to send us Hamashiach Yahushua in the Old Testament. So we are waiting on Hamashiach Yahushua to return. So I wanted to show you that. Now, let's show you what happens to Judah when Hamashiach makes these people his footstool. If we do what we're supposed to do, this will happen. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 in the Apocrypha. If you have the Apocrypha, this is a very good book to have. It is the missing link. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 4. Now, this is what's going to happen when Yahushua returns. "For though they be punished in the sight of men," that's us. We're punished in every way you could think of. I don't have to name every little piece of evidence to show how we were punished for the last 2,000 years. I'll read it again. "For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality." Those of us who put our trust in the Most High, we're going to get immortality, everlasting life. Verse 5, "And having been a little chastised," because our bodies right now are temporary, but our spirits are everlasting. That's why it says, "And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded." See that? This little bit of chastisement, we got to endure it. "For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation," when will we be visited? When Yahushua returns. "And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine." So soon as we step on the scene, our bodies are going to be transformed. We're going to be in a new body. All these people still here. All those who are not in the truth, they're going to witness us change right before them. "And run to and fro like sparks among the stubble." He said we're going to be moving so fast. We're going to run and not get tired. Imagine that. And remember what the stubble is. When you read the book of Obadiah, he says Esau will be for what? Stubble. Stubble. You know what stubble is? The lowest of the low. All right. "They shall judge the nations." So the Most High is going to use us to do this. That's why we're going to run to and fro like sparks. We're going to be doing the work of the Most High. "They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Hamashiach shall reign forever. They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth." How many people understand the truth that are woke? "And such as be faithful in love," meaning keep the commandments, "shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to who? To his saints." That's talking about Hamashiach. "And he hath care for his elect." All those who believe in him will be redeemed. And we're going to have powers. Let's read verse 10. "But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Most High." All these people doing their own thing, they're going to pay by pain. All right, now let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. And watch how this links up. This will link up with the Apocrypha. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 14. And it reads, Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient towards all men. This is that little bit of charity with that little bit of chastisement, because we're going to be inflicted with the same thing our brothers and sisters go through. Their pain is our pain. Verse 15, see that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to what? All men. See that? So Yahushua is telling us to grit out that pain. Don't render evil for evil to no one. That's why I want to bring this out. So I brought out the rage of Judah. I understand that we have a different way than the world, okay? We have a different way for all those who want to rebel in this kingdom. We got the ways of Christ and the prophets, our forefathers. So he wants us to be this way so we can receive those benefits. It don't mean that we're a sucker or a punk, or it don't mean none of that. We ain't weak. Verse 16, rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of the Most High in Hamashiach Yahushua concerning you. Quench not the spirit, despise not prophesying, prove all things, hold fast that which is good, abstain from all appearance of evil, and the very power of peace sanctify you wholly. And I pray, the Most High, your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of Hamashiach Yahushua. Faithful is he that calleth you, who also will do it. Brethren, pray for us. Greet all the brethren with a holy kiss. I charge you by the Most High that the epistle be read unto all the holy brothers. Separation. The grace of our power, Hamashiach Yahushua, be with you. Amen. Yahushua is going to return, but when he returns, it's going to be a trumpet that's going to be blown. And when that trumpet is blown, so this is the chapter right before it, and I want you to read this because in order to get to this point, we had to go through 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. We got to be like that in order to get right here. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 13. But it reads in 13, but I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. These are those who have died, so-called died, but believe. They have hope. For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Hamashiach will the Most High bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of the Most High, that we which are alive and remain, some of us are going to be alive when Yahushua returns, unto the coming of the Hamashiach shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Most High himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Then we, which are alive and remain, shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Hamashiach in the air. And so shall we be with the Most High Yahweh, Hashem Hamashiach. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. So there's a process. These are the scriptures that brothers who want to start a rebellion don't want to hear. They don't want to hear about this stuff. This is about our salvation. This is about our victory. They don't want to hear about this. I have an article that I actually want to bring out. It's called The Slaughter of the Theban Legion. Okay? This happened in 286 AD. Now, these soldiers were no joke. If you ever heard of St.Maurice, any of y'all ever heard of St.Maurice? St.Maurice was a black man in the Roman army. So we're going to read about this article. It's called The Slaughter of Theban Legion. This happened in 286 AD. This is about St.Maurice. So it reads, the Theban Legion was one of the many legions in the Imperial Roman army. When Rome conquered a country, a fighting force was enlisted from the citizenry, trained as Roman soldiers and dispatched as needed all over the empire by the empires. Legions were comprised of 400 to 6,000 men from many countries. So this was a legion. The Theban legion contained 6,600 men from the ancient town of Thebes near Luxor and Karnak. Egypt. These Egyptians were known as a fierce fighters and legions to Caesar. Also, all Christians. Now it shows this being St.Maurice, and it shows these guys here as Christians, but we're going to see that this was actually a lie. These are false images, false narratives, even the angels, all false narratives. So we're going to look into this part. As it's talking about St. Maurice, it says here, at St. Maurice, Switzerland, then called Agnum, the orders were given to kill all in the Theban legion. The legion had refused to obey an order from the emperor to kill local Christians. The other legions, soldiers were given orders to decimate them by putting to death a tenth of its men. This act was repeated over and over again until the entire Theban legion was put to death. In command of the Theban legion was a man named Mauritius, now designated St. Maurice. As you can see there, it's talking about St. Maurice. The men in Theban legion were steady sufferers. Many of their Egyptian Christian ancestors had suffered persecution and death for several hundred years, and even then some of their families were being killed for Christ at the command of the very emperors whom they served. It is against the background of the historic persecution of Egyptian Christians and of the ongoing persecution at home in Thebes that their story should be read. All right, we're going to read a little bit further down. Let's go here. It says, this letter was written by Eucharis, Bishop of Lyons, 380-449. This was a very prominent bishop. And it says, about 115 years after the following events happened. From Eucharist to the Lord Holy and Most Blessed Bishop in Christ, I'm reading it verbatim. Salvius, Bishop of Octodurum, this is his letter. I am unfolding with my pen an account of the suffering of the holy martyrs who light up Argument with their glorious blood. Let me now recount the very cause of their passion. During the reign of the Maximian, who ruled the Roman Republic together with Diocletian as his colleague, crowds of martyrs were tortured or killed throughout various provinces. Maximian did arm his impiety to extinguish the name of Christianity. He set his weapons directly against Christianity. Who were called the Christians first? It was the Israelites. Never forget that in the book of Acts, chapter 11. This slaughter took place under the co-emperor Maximian, 286-305 and 286 AD. There was at that time in the army a legion of soldiers who were called the Thebae that contained 6,600 men under arms. When they had been summoned to support by Maximian left, that's Maximian, from the regions of the east, these men active in battle and renowned for their courage, although more renowned for their faith, came. These were some strong, mighty men. There were gladiators, and then became soldiers. They strove in bravery for the emperor, but in devotion to Christ. Accordingly, when these men were assigned to harass the multitude of Christians in the area, they alone dared to refuse the cruel task and declared that they would not obey commands of this king. All right, this goes into Leviticus 19, 17, and 18. Thou shalt love thy brother, right? Dropping down to this paragraph, when Maximian learned the reply of the Thebae, he burned with a fierce anger on account of their neglect of his commands, and ordered every 10th person from that same legion to be executed by the sword. When this repeat command reached the Thebae, There arose indiscriminately throughout the camp the hue and cry of men declaring that they would never submit to such sacrilegious tasks, because they was doing this in the name of God, the Roman Empire, but it wasn't the Most High. It wasn't the God of the Israelites. It wasn't the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through Christ. They were worshiping other gods like Zeus and Hermes and Greek mythology. All right. So it says here, the greatest incitement to faith at that time was the holy Mauritius, which was St.Maurice, which meant commander, as it is called, of that legion. Accordingly, they sent to Maximian this message: We are your soldiers, O emperor, but God's servants. We owe military service to you, but just living to him. No way can we follow an emperor in this. A command for us to deny God, our Father, especially since our Father is your God, because he's the creator of all, and Father, whether you like it or not. So who are they claiming to be their God? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. These are Israelites. This is St. Maurice, this photo here. So why are they showing them up here as being Caucasian? So it's St. Maurice. I'll show you some more photos on St. Maurice.
This book is the image of the Black and Western art from the early Christian era to the age of discovery, from the demonic threat to the incarnation of sainthood. Edited by David Bindman and Henry Louis Gates Jr., who was a black man. All right, this editor torts a lot of the information that this brother brings out. This was recently made in 2010. There is a series of these images of the Black and Western art. This is a picture of Noah's sons. Notice that they're all black: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Notice that they're all black: Ham, Shem, Japheth. All right. Notice that. Now let's look at the insert. 65. Descendants of the son of Noah, Octatuk. Constantinople, 12th century, Vatican, Biblioteca Apostolica Vaticana. So now you can see for yourself that these are the descendants of Noah. Black men. Different shades of brown. As you can see, Ham is dark, dark, dark. Shem, different shades of brown. Okay. And then you have even Japheth was a dark brown. We're going to go to page 89, 2 pages over. You can see here 65. I'm going to give a little bit more information. It says, the theme of the descendants of Noah was rarely illustrated in Western Europe. This was not true of Byzantium, as we see in the 2 Octatuks in the Vatican Library, one from the 11th century, the other from the 12th, and both seemingly originate in Constantinople or the region thereabout, and in the Istanbul Octatuk. In these manuscripts, the Byzantine put blacks on a footing of complete equality among the descendants of the sons of Noah. So this is showing you that Noah and his sons were all people of color originally. Now this is a picture of St.Maurice. This is him in all his glorious armor. St.Maurice again. Everyone knew St.Maurice. This is page 182. This is St.Maurice again talking with the emperor. All right, notice that he is one of his top generals and how close he's able to get to the emperor. Judah shall be at the neck of their enemies. See that? Look at the halo around St.Maurice. This pope, this king, supposedly has one too. This symbolizes sainthood and godliness. Notice in the back, St. Maurice's soldiers. There too, they too are also black. If we drop down, it tells you this is St. Maurice, 151. Matthias, Grunwald, St. Aramis, and St. Maurice from Haley Collegiate Church, 1520. This is page 186. As we go up, we see St. Maurice again. 156, statue, St. Maurice. So he was a saint. This is in the front this is from the facade of the town hall of Jitterbug. This is St. Maurice. Notice all his soldiers in the background. What color are they? They are all black. These are the men that wouldn't kill their brethren who were other fellow Israelites. Notice the color of St. Maurice. All the way back, even on horses in the background, you see his soldiers. There are two, also black. Notice the dress attire. Notice the crosses. They were all Christians, according to Acts chapter 11. They were all Israelites. This is 157. St. Maurice and his companions. Upper half of the right wing of a triptych from the chapel at Gross Witzfitzlin, ca. 1520, Lüneburg. Now, St. Maurice was known from Rome, Egypt, all the way up to Russia, Germany, Poland. The Most High gave him fame because he stood for him. Go to one more page. This is 185. More pictures and statues of St. Maurice on castles. Now, does he look like the image that the website showed? St. Maurice was a black man. There's so many images. You cannot miss the fact that he was a black man. These are his soldiers. St. Maurice's soldiers. His top soldiers. Notice the color of them. All in the name of Rome. But they found out who they were, so it became all in the name of the Most High, and it would not violate the first two greatest commandments, which is love the Most High thy power with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your brother as yourself, which were also fellow Israelites who had become Christian. 153. Genervon, Orlo, Mundi, three companions of St. Maurice, interior of the first wing, The first wing, these are his top soldiers. Interior of the first wing on the right of the altarpiece of the high altar, dated 1511, Hayley Church of St.Maurice. So they named the whole city after St.Maurice in Germany. Here's page 62. It reads, Lucifer, the fallen angel of light, occupies a complex position in our inquiry. As the devil, he is almost never represented with the physical traits of a Negro. You see that? This is back during the Byzantine Empire. As the devil, he is almost never represented with the physical traits of a Negro. And we rarely find him colored black. Now remember it said that St. Maurice came out of the areas of Egypt. These are Jews in Egypt. Notice the dress attire. These are civilians. These are not soldiers. Notice it says 16. 16. Egyptians. See that? These are Jews in Egypt, which were called Kojic Christians. This is page 9, 1.6. It says, Sub-Saharan African zones are not part of the list, but the artist has nevertheless shown the two figures labeled Egyptian as persons of color wearing white robes. This, as we have seen, meshes with antique and early medieval notions about the complexions of Egyptians. So the Egyptians were never Arab. They were dark people like Negroes. They were Jews during this time period, as well as with several other images in San Marco. Although these black Jews, now it's telling you, although these black Jews from a much smaller percentage of the apostles, potential converts, than the compressed pairs of a single black and a single white on the two Pala de Oro plaques, what were they converts to? Becoming Christians. Their grand scale and distinguished location marked them as highly important figures at the early moment in the history of Christian depictions of black Africans. Notice, these were Jews. This is although these black Jews, from a much smaller percentage of the apostles' potential converts, what did they convert to? Becoming Christianity, followers of Christ. Not Roman Christianity. It wasn't developed at that time. This is before Constantine. These were the original Christians. These were actual Jews who followed Christ, just like St. Maurice. Let's read here. You order us to seek out Christians for punishment. You do not now have to seek out others on this charge, since you have us here confessing. We believe in God, the Father maker of all, and God his Son, Jesus Christ, which is Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. When Maximian heard these things and realized that the men's minds were resolute in their faith in Hamashiach, he decreed in one sentence that they were all to be killed and ordered the surrounding military columns to effect the matter. The other legions drew their wicked swords against the holy men. In order to be holy, what do you have to do? Keep the commandments. Against the holy men who did not refuse to die. They were indiscriminately slaughtered by the sword. They did not cry out even or fight back, but laid aside their arms and offered their necks to their persecutors, remembering this alone, that they were confessing him
who was led to his death without a cry, and like a lamb did not open his mouth. They, the Lord's flock of sheep, so to speak, also allowed themselves to be torn by the ongoing wolves, as it were. The earth there was covered by the bodies of the pious as they fell forward into death. So they was killing basically unarmed men. They was killing men whose faith was in the Most High, and they refused to execute an order on their own fellow brethren, which would put them in odds with the Most High. So they chose to go against the earthly realm of this emperor than to go against the Most High. I'll read one more. It says down here. You see, this is supposed to be a photo of the war, of them slaying. Look at this. Here it is right here. They're showing again. I guess this is St.Maurice on his knees praying. As we just saw, that is not St.Maurice. All right. And we'll see what his men look like in a few. I, Eucharist, have sent this written account of the passion of our martyrs, for I was afraid lest through neglect time should remove from the memory of men this account of so glorious a martyrdom. I have sought the truth of this very matter from suitable sources, from the holy Isaac, Bishop of Geneva, who had learned these things in turn from the most blessed Bishop Theodore, a man of an earlier time. I offer these writings of mine, if they are deemed worthy of support. Now, here's the interesting thing. As we scroll to the top, notice it says 286 AD. Now, do you know the time of Constantine when he put together the Council of Nicaea? Notice that 315 to 325 wasn't too far after this. It was by this slaughter, it was by this slaughter that Rome began to change all their rules, all their theologies to include the laws of the Most High, to include the faith in Christ without keeping the laws. This is when all that changed, right after this massacre. All right. So Constantine was probably a lot younger then and witnessed this as a young man, and probably had a better solution where he would merge all religions into one so they could have peace in Rome. This is when the confusion started. So I just wanted to bring this out to let you see that the men of the Most High are not simps. They stood for the Most High. And this is how we're supposed to be. Because if they were to fight against the heathen, if they were to fight against those who were not believers, or those not of their heritage, they would probably mow and saw them down with the swords, St.Maurice. But that is not the case in the story. We don't hear the story enough.
This act was repeated over and over again until the entire Theban legion was put to death. So these men refused to fight and kill other brothers who were called Christians because they thought that they would be going against everything the Most High was teaching. What we were just reading, it said, comfort one another in the book of Thessalonians. These brothers understood that. So they refused to kill their own brothers, even if they were the enemies. But the Roman commandos who were over them, the leaders, they was like, look, if you don't obey this law, if you don't obey this order, then we're just going to kill all your soldiers. So they went and killed 6,000 soldiers. These men did not fight back. They didn't even pull up their sword. They basically committed mass murder on men. They allowed these men to kill them. They could have probably killed the men that was killing them, but they didn't even bother. They let them kill because they believed in the Most High. Defending our salvation is everything, not this world. This world ain't got nothing on the Most High. So we do what is right in the eyes of the Most High, the Hamashiach. Anyone speaking differently are men of the devil. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 48. Isaiah 48, verse 1. And it reads, hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which is the 12 tribes,
which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah. So all the tribes are coming out of the waters of Judah. All of them are being born into the truth of Judah, or something else, which swear by the name of the Most High and make mention of the Most High of Israel, but not in truth nor in righteousness. When you look at the Christian churches today, they don't teach the law, statutes, commandments, but look at all the actors, look at all the singers, look at all the politicians of our people that come out of these Christian churches. They come out of the Christian churches. When you do an interview or something like that on them, or a documentary, they always say what church they came from, what neighborhood they came from. This is what the scriptures is talking about. Everybody comes out of the waters of Judah, but they don't even make mention of the Most High of Israel, not in truth nor in righteousness. See that? That's our people. They got to get the truth so they can be in righteousness. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 1. These are instructions. This is what we're learning in part. The Most High is showing us how to be. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 5. Listen to what this says. If the commandments were done away with, then it wouldn't be mentioned in Timothy. But let's look at what it says. Now the end of the commandment is what? Charity. Now the end, is the commandment over with? No. After keeping all the commandments, at the end of all the learning of the commandments comes what? Charity. Utilize charity when dealing with the commandments. Utilize charity when dealing with the commandments. It's going to explain more that the commandments are not done away with. It says, out of a pure heart and of good conscience and of faith unfeigned, from which some have swerved, have turned aside unto vain janglings, desiring to be teachers of the law, understanding neither what they say, nor whereof they affirm. How many Bibles are in the churches? Is it a law book? Do they teach of the law? They don't teach of the law. The law, every page they turn, the law is there. They consider themselves teachers of the law, but none of them teach the law. That's why it says, desiring to be teachers of the law, understanding neither what they say, nor whereof they affirm. But we know that the law is good, so why don't they teach from it? If a man use it lawfully, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless. How many lawless people are in church? And for the disobedient. How many disobedient people are in church? For the ungodly and for the sinners. How many sinners are in there? What is their guideline for finding out if they're a sinner? It says, for unholy, those who don't keep the laws, and profane, for murderers of fathers and murders of mothers, for manslayers. How are you going to know what the law is if you don't study the law? When it says for unholy and profane, that's those not eating or following the dietary law. That's those not keeping the ceremonial laws. Verse 10, for whoremongers, how many whoremongers are in church? Almost everybody. For whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine. What is sound doctrine? The law. Okay? The statutes, the judgments. There's no sound doctrine in the churches. They don't even mention the law. They don't tell anyone what right from wrong is. Nowhere in the church. There's a lot of self-help. Oh, let's go to this drug program for this, drug program for that. Let's go to marriage counseling for this. But nothing is extenuated from the law to help people get a better understanding of it. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22, verse 36. It's kind of like when Mary Magdalene was chased out towards Yahushua, and Yahushua told the Pharisees that was chasing Mary Magdalene, he who have sinned, throw the first stone.
None of them threw a stone because they had all sinned. They were all sinful men. Also,
They all knew the law that you had to have two witnesses. Where's the man? Why are you stoning the woman? The man got to be there too. He was a part of it. She wasn't sinning by herself. The law has to come into the picture for people to understand. Judah got to be on point if you want to get into the kingdom. Look at P. Diddy with all that body oil. All that body oil, he got the date rape drug all in all the body oils. So you rub the body oil on, you got date rape stuff all over the people. They're like drunken with this body oil. Matthew chapter 22, verse 36. I hope you repent and everybody else. Matthew 22, verse 36. Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Yahushua said unto him, Thou shalt love the Most High thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Charity. On these two commandments hang all the law of the prophets. It's just like we read in 1 Timothy. It says the end of the commandment is charity, which is love your brother and your sister. Matthew chapter 20. Now, upon receiving that inheritance, which is during the resurrection, we're all going to see the Most High take the 12 tribes and make them ferocious armies, just like we just saw of the Theban armies. All we have to do is just be patient. Now, why is he going to make these armies? He's going to make these armies to destroy all those who are not godly, all those who are not following the Most High. Matthew chapter 20. Matthew 20 and verse 15. Matthew 20 and verse 15. All right. This is the return of Judah, topic of this class. Matthew chapter 20, verse 15. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? This is Yahushua. So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few are chosen. All right, so we got to be ready to do what's right. We got to keep the law in order to be called. The Most High is ultimately in charge, and we all wait on him to decide when that time is. This is what the Most High is going to do with the children of Israel. He's going to remove us. He's going to groom us. We're going to get those new bodies. And the way he's going to remove us, he's saying right here in Revelation 7:1, it says, And after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. These four angels are right there right now. All right? Right now, these angels are working. They don't never leave. People think they just show up. They've been here from the beginning of time, these four angels. Revelation 7, verse 2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Now, the holding the four winds, that's not talking about the winds that you see or you feel. That's the militaries of the earth. That goes back to Daniel chapter 7. Okay, Daniel chapter 7 talks about the four great beasts on the earth. So these angels have seen all this since the beginning of the time. I wish I could have their eyes to see what they saw. Man. Revelation 7:3. Saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. How are they going to be sealed? This is just for those who don't know. How are they going to be sealed? Let me show it to you. Isaiah chapter 8. Just taking a break to show you how the children of Israel are going to be sealed. Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 16. Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 16. Bind up the testimony of Christ. seal the law among my disciples. So how is he going to seal the law? He's going to seal it on our foreheads. We're going to remember the law. We're going to keep the law. We're going to teach the law through charity. So now you know what that seal is. Revelation chapter 7, verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there was sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben, 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Simeon, Levi, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, Benjamin. All were sealed 12,000 from each tribe, which makes up the 144,000, which are the leaders of the Israelites. Those are the ones who are going to stand with the Mashiach.
I know someone had a question about this, but there is no rapture. But when it comes to these 144,000, for y'all to know, these are the only ones who are going to be pulled up. These are the leaders. They're going to be pulled up like Elijah, like Enoch. These are the only ones that are going to be pulled up to fight with Hamashiach Yahushua and the angels.
Revelation chapter 7 and 9. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude. This is millions of Israelites. Millions upon millions of Israelites, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations, coming out of every country, and kindreds, and people. These are all Israelites. These ain't everybody. These are 12 tribes of Israel. And tongues. We all speak in different languages, different countries. Some speaking Portuguese, some speaking Spanish, some speaking Chinese, some speaking Japan, English, right? And tongues stood before the throne. Who's standing next to the throne? Before the Lamb, Yahushua, clothed with white robes. We're going to have our own jerseys. We're going to be made different from everybody else wearing these clothes that we have on today. Most High going to give us jerseys like a game, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. So this is going to take place. So when this starts to brew, when this starts to happen, let's go over to Revelation 14. So he chose the 144,000 first before he chose the multitude. And when he chose the 144,000, he's going to take them and put them with the Hamashiach for a duty. Revelation 14 and verse 1. Revelation 14 and verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion. That lamb is Hamashiach. And with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. Now you know what the name is, the law. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers, harping with the harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts, and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. They were meditating on the scriptures. Remember when we read in Deuteronomy 33 that Levi is going to leave his brother, his father, his mother, everybody to keep the covenants. He's going to teach the brethren. Verse 14 of 4. These are they which were not defiled with women of the religions, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile. They taught themselves not to lie. They taught themselves not to speak wicked. They kept a still tongue. They spoke when necessary. For they are without fault before the throne of the Most High. They watch themselves in every angle. So the Most High is taking Yahushua, he's letting him gather his army. The 144,000 is a part of that army. Let's go to Psalms chapter 68. Because there's going to be a whole lot of beings in this army. It's not going to be just the saints. There'll be more than that. Psalms chapter 68, verse 17. Psalm 68, verse 17. So we're all lining up behind Hamashiach, who's from the tribe of Judah. Psalm 68, verse 17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels, 1,000,000 angels. The Most High is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place. Thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts from men, yea, for the rebellious also, that the Most High Yahweh might dwell among them. Blessed be the Most High, who daily loadeth us with benefits. There it is. I like that. The Most High gives us benefits daily, whether you know it or not. He always blessing you. Blessed be the Most High, who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the Most High of our salvation. Selah. Let's drop down. Let's go read all the way to 23. He that is our power is the power of salvation. And unto Yahweh, the Hamashiach, belong the issues from death. But the Most High shall wound the head of his enemies. There it is again. And the hairy scalp of such and one as goeth on still in his trespasses. The Most High said, I will bring again from Bashan. That was the Roman army, if you read the book of Psalms, chapter 22. That was the Roman armies. I will bring my people again from the depths of the sea, that thy foot may be dipped in the blood of thine enemies, and the tongue of thy dogs in the same. So what is the Most High all about? Revenge. See, all we got to do is be patient. It's a different army that we're forming. We're being patient. We're being kind to one another because that's the prerequisite to become a soldier in his army. This is what we're doing. Just like we read about St.Maurice. They could have killed all those legions of armies that was coming against them, but they laid down their sword. They want to be a part of this army. They want to be ready to go. These men sacrificed themselves just so they could be in the Most High's army. Gave their lives up. Even though they had families and friends and all that, they gave their lives up for the Most High. Man, that is something. That's a story right there. All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51. So Judah is preparing himself for this war, this great war coming. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 19. In order for us to do all these great things that the book of Ephesians, Galatians, Timothy, Thessalonians are saying, how we got to be kind to one another, this makes us different. Jeremiah 51:19, the portion of Jacob is not like them. We're not like everybody else. We're not like the woke community. We're not like the brothers who call themselves Hotep. We're not like Farrakhan and the Muslims. We're not like none of these people, right? We're different. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Most High of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. He's going to use us to destroy kingdoms. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, planes, bombers, and these tanks. Most High going to use us to take them out. And with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman. And with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, all those wicked people. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandmen, those who have got farms, that got Issachar working all in there. We're going to break in pieces them too. And these vineyards and wineries, and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers, taking out the militaries. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea, all the wise men in Babylon, all their evil that they have done in Zion, in your sight, saith the Most High. So have we not seen all the evil these people been doing to us over the years? Especially through social media, in books. We've been seeing it. We've been hearing about it. All right? Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. The destroying mountain are governments like NATO, the European Union, America, Russia. These are destroying mountains, saith the Most High, which destroyeth all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. Most High going to burn up all these mountains. He's going to destroy all these kingdoms. All right? How's he going to do it? He's going to use us to do it. He's going to use Judah and his companions. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 41. Look at what he's going to make out of us. Look at the powers that he's going to give us. Isaiah chapter 41, verse 14. They'll never bring this out in church. Isaiah 41, verse 14. And it reads, Fear not, thou worm, Jacob. Why is he calling Jacob a worm? We ain't got no power. Our power is the Most High. We're being patient. And ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Most High, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. That's what we're going to be transformed into. We're going to be made into a souped-up lawnmower. Most High is going to change us. He said, I will make you into a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shalt make the hills as chaff. Thou shalt fan them, and the wind shall carry them away. And the whirlwind, those are the angels coming down. We ain't going to be fighting by ourselves. It's going to be the saints and the angels. And the whirlwind shall scatter them. And thou shalt rejoice in the Most High, and shalt glory in the Holy One of Yasharallah. See that? The Most High is coming to take out these people. Let's go to the book of Jude. And this is showing you how the Most High is preparing us to get back. We got to be tough, but we got to be weak in the eyes of the Most High, unless he tells us to do something different. Jude chapter 1, verse 14. Jude chapter 1, verse 14. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, Enoch saw from the beginning of the time to the end of time, just like Moses, just like Ezra. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Most High cometh with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches in these churches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. These are murmurers, complainers, walking after their own lusts, and their mouth speaking great swelling words, having men's purses in admiration because of advantage. See that? So even Jude is talking about what's going to happen in the last days. The Most High is sending his saints to take the kingdom. If these types of men don't repent, that we're supposed to be waking up, they're going to end up being broken into pieces. All these people, they're going to get broken into pieces. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 7. See, this ain't no joke now. See, the last video I did, brothers were like, oh, man, he's giving in to the white man, and he talking all sweet. Nah, man, you better read the scriptures. Better think again. Definitely no weakness. Better read the new covenant. He's teaching us how to be ready for that kingdom so we can be changed to fight. If you don't have the spirit, you ain't going to fight. Daniel chapter 7, verse 17. Daniel chapter 7, verse 17. It reads, Now those four angels that hold the four winds, these are the winds that he's speaking of. It says, These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall rise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. This is a prophecy. We're going to take over at the end. Let's jump up to verse 25. While we're here, this is what they're doing to us. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. Who is this? The governments of the earth today. They speak great words. Mother Nature this. They don't even throw the Most High name in there. They don't never throw his name in there. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High. That's what they're doing with all their doctrines, their theologies, their education, their science. They're wearing us down. And think to change times, daylight saving times, and laws, right? Keep changing their laws. They keep amending new laws. Every year, around January, you open up the paper, you see all these new laws that just brought into effect. And they shall be given into his hand until time and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. So we're going to overhaul this whole place. Whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. This is what's going to happen. This is the future. This is the end game. Zephaniah chapter 3. But it's a prerequisite. You got to be following. If you're not following it, you won't graduate. You'll flunk out. Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 11. In that day shalt thou not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me? But then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride, and thou shalt no more be halted because of my holy mountain. All these people he's going to remove. I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of the Most High. We are the afflicted and poor people. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, like we read in Revelation chapter 14 with the Israelites, the 144,000. They didn't have no guile in their mouth. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. Sing, O daughter of Zion, shout, O Israel, be glad and rejoice with all thine heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. The Most High have taken away thy judgments, because we're being judged right now, our people. He have cast out thine enemy. The King of Israel, even the Most High, is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil any more. When this day comes, we won't see evil no more. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear thou not, and to Zion, let not thy hands be slack. The Most High thy power in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. How can you be in this kingdom if you're in sin? There's no way you could be a whoremonger in this kingdom or a murderer. There's no way. That's why you got to change, repent, and learn the curriculum. Verse 18, we'll read to 20. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. All this he's talking about Israel, nobody else. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict you, and I will save her that halted. Don't you hear the roar of the people in this country today, of the Negroes who are always crying, always asking for reparations? It says, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land, whether they have been put to shame. Every land we've been put to shame. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and praise among all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes. Who else has been in captivity? Everyone around the whole earth know that we, as a whole collective, the Negroes, Native Americans, have lost everything we've had. We've all been in captivity. Everyone knows that. We're going to dwell in peace. All right? Understand that Judah is coming back, which is Yahweh Shai. He's going to have all of us baptized through the waters of Judah to do right. And with that, I'm going to end this class. Are there any questions
I took you from the pastures and from following the sheep to be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.
Welcome, everyone. First Thessalonians, 4th chapter.
The 4th chapter.
It's reading down to 17. So, a lot of the Christian community, they believe in the rapture. And I noticed on chapter 4, verse 17, it says, "Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord." And I know that must be the second coming of that should be alone in Revelation. I just want to know where that lines up. It's when Yahushua comes back.
Okay. Yeah. So when he talks about us being caught up in the air, really that's talking about in the land of Israel. If you go to Zechariah chapter, look at Zechariah chapter 14, verse 1. Because if you go to it says, "Behold, the day of the Most High cometh, and the spoil shall be divided in the midst of you. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Most High go forth and fight against these nations as when he fought in the day of battle." So he's going to go to Jerusalem first, right here, verse 4. "And his feet shall stand in the day upon the Mount of Olives." If you ever do your research on the Mount of Olives, it sits almost above the clouds. Mount of Olives.
Okay.
It says, "Which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains. For the valley of the mountains shall teach unto Azal. Yea, ye shall flee like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uz, King of Judah. And the Most High of my power shall come, and all the saints with you." So we're going to be there in the land of Israel. Secondly, when you go to Matthew chapter 24, he tells you that all the tribes are going to mourn when you come back, so no one is going to be raptured.
That's what I thought, because I was like, that's not true. From what coming from a Christian church background, that's what they focus on in those churches. And when we was going through First Thessalonians 4:14, I just happened to read all the way down, and that's when I caught that verse, and I just related it back to, as a child, the things I would hear. Back then I wasn't really, I was there, I wouldn't say more for entertainment. Now that I'm coming into the truth, it wasn't about the law and the scriptures. So when I saw that, I was like, I know there's a second witness that lines up to this that's going to show me that fallacy of what Christians believe. So, thank you.
Because, it's a fantasy world for a lot of the Christians They think they're going to be raptured. They think that Christ is coming to save everybody. It's a fantasy world, and it's not true according to the scriptures.
Right.
There's so many verses that says
church that we are going to have to go through that tribulation of the wheat and the tares. They don't go into that at all. It's just the thought process. As long as I repent and I'm saved according to their doctrine, I'm going to be raptured.
Right.
So
there's no rapture in the Bible.
Right.
Right. So if you go to Matthew 24 and 29, if you read Matthew 24 and 29, it says, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, after the tribulation, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. So this is after the tribulation. Then it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. That's even the 12 tribes of Israel. All the tribes of the earth are going to mourn when they see him. Some going to be happy, some going to be glad, some going to be sorrowful, because they know they ain't been doing right. And that's what Daniel talks about in the 12th chapter. Some going to be happy because they've been waiting on this. Some going to be sorrowful because they didn't prepare. And it says, they all go mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet.
Right.
See that? That's that trump. That's that trump that we hear. And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds. We read about that in Revelation 12, Revelation chapter 7, the four winds in different kingdoms, from one end of heaven to the other. So this is all going to happen after the tribulation. All of us are going to be here going through the tribulation, every one of us. No one's going to escape. This is going to be something we have to go through. We have to learn charity now. A lot of people who don't learn it is going to die during the tribulation because their hearts are poisoned. It's not going to sustain them. They're going to die. So when you jump over to chapter 25 and verse 31, it says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. Where's that? That's in Zechariah chapter 14 we just read, Mount of Olives. And before him shall be gathered all nations. We read about that in Zechariah 14. And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. You know, so he's setting this thing up. He's coming back. He's going to rule from Israel. He's going to destroy that place. That place is going to be destroyed, Israel. And so everybody going to flock there. That's why he said he's going to make an ensign for Israel, Isaiah 11:11. We all going to go back. He's going to make a highway for us to get back to Israel. You know? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot more to it than that. You got to go precepts on that rapture stuff. Ain't no rapture.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a resurrection. There's a resurrection.